Before she met Jesus, Iselda tried to become a mother.
I had high blood pressure during pregnancy, and I got pregnant 3 times, and none of them were successful.
We were already interested in the faith show, and because of all the teachings by Dr. Soares, everything led us to the Grace of God Church.
Before we became members, I already started to sponsor.
She was converted to Christ, and she got pregnant again. Everything went well until the 4th month.
I started having high blood pressure problems again. The doctor, he told me, either the baby's born now, or he'll die like the others. I began trusting God even more, and I said, this time, my Isaque will come. I was around 5 months and a half pregnant, and he was born very, very small. He weighed 655 grams. It was very complicated during the 3 months he spent in the ICU. He underwent many surgeries. None of his organs were fully formed.
He seemed very translucent because he had barely any skin.
Many times we would hug and cry.
I fasted the 89 days he was in the ICU.
Then he was discharged from the hospital.
But when he was 7 years old, Isaque started to have several problems.
Because he couldn't stand up, and if you put him on the floor, he would fall.
They would ask God, they would cry, they would sit next to me and start talking to me.
Then he began to have slurred speech. I thought, this is not normal. So I took him to a neurologist.
Isaque was diagnosed with Moya-Moya syndrome.
The Moya-Moya syndrome causes some alterations in the arteries that carry the blood, and these arteries start to narrow as time goes by, and the body tries to find ways to supply enough blood to the brain, generating a few poorly formed small arteries whose functions would be to supply our brain with blood.
Whenever I went to the church, Pastor Thelma would pray with me to strengthen me.
In addition to the Word of God, that friendly hug, which also makes a great difference in these moments.
I watched the faith show frequently and heard the testimonies and thought, if they got healed, our son will be healed too.
Isaque underwent surgery. However, that did not help at all.
He was unable to eat by himself. He couldn't go to school anymore because he couldn't even hold a pencil.
I would pray to God, I would ask God to heal me.
I didn't look at this situation. I kept looking at Jesus.
About 3 months later, Isaque began to surprise everyone.
After lots of prayer, his movements began to come back, and now he could walk and he could run.
I started to talk again. I hadn't been able to do that for a long time. I walked, I ran, I was able to write and eat by myself.
He was able to go back to school.
I witnessed a miracle.
In 2017, he was baptized.
1 year later, the doctor asked us to get another MRI, and he saw that even though the arteries that irrigate the brain were totally blocked, he didn't have any permanent damage, as if nothing had happened.
The fact that you have a recovery of this magnitude, indeed, it is a very good recovery for this type of disease.
And now he runs, he plays, he leads a normal life.
I played the keyboard, I played tennis.
No words are able to describe the love of God in our lives.
God does what not even medical science can do.
He is a miracle in my life.
That was so wonderful, eh, folks?